everybody. It's been a couple months, but we're back. You know where? Stranny's place. We got something different this time for RevUp Okanagan. It's a little bit bigger than we're used to putting together for recipients. This is a full 5-passenger, still call it a compact SUV. It's a Saturn Vue. And that may sound strange because we haven't really done any GM products other than the Pontiac Vibe, which, as we explained in that video, it's really a Toyota product, a Toyota Matrix. And here's what's unique about this vehicle. GM product, but from the years 2002 to 2007, I believe, they had a partnership with Honda. And so the driveline, the engine and transmission in this vehicle, built by Honda. It's their very reliable, high-quality J35 engine. Same engine you'll find in Honda Accords, primarily though in their Honda Pilots and the Acura MDX, but in a much more compact footprint than those, we'll call them sort of mid-sized SUVs. So I look at this and I think it's basically a Honda CR-V sized vehicle with a V6. But great fuel economy on the highway. It's a little bit harder on fuel around town, as V6s are versus inline 4s. But this one was in really nice shape, so we reached out to our friends at KCR who find ideal recipients for these vehicles, and they should have a family of 3 or a family of 4 that this will work wonderfully for going forward. So we jumped the gun a little. We had this inspected by BCAA, Travis and our friends over there, and there's really only 2 things that popped up. 3 things actually. The tires, but we just replaced them with some new tires. But the inner tie rod on the driver's side, I believe, was pretty much worn, and that was the reason it had a little bit of steering play. So out at Stranny's today, we're going to fix the inner tie rod on the driver's side, and actually we just ended up picking up the sway bar links and outer tie rod for both sides, so we're going to do both sides. And then Angela and I will get to the detailing on the inside. We'll get this thing polished and buffed. And it's mid-March right now. Going to be hitting close to the 20s this weekend, so spring is virtually here in the Okanagan. And we understand that we should be getting this vehicle out to the family sometime right around Easter or shortly thereafter. What do you think, Stranny? Should we get this on the lift?
Let's go to work. Sun shining.
And we got the PGA Championship on too, so we're not missing anything.
I might have mentioned that to you. She ever had some road rash on one of her wheels.
Got it fixed?
$300. Jesus.
Okay, first walkthrough underneath the Saturn Vue. An initial inspection looks pretty good. This is a BC car from the beginning. Very nice condition underneath. Nice and solid in the back. Put new rear shocks on the back already. But the lines look clean. Yeah, it looks very clean. Not too many problems usually with BC cars, as we've mentioned over and over again. So here, yeah, here's the Honda transmission. And there's one thing that we did already. We replaced the AC compressor, which is right in there. And we'll show in the video, but there's two ways to get the AC out. Up through the top, which is a lot more difficult because you've got to remove the alternator, the motor mount, the airbox, all that stuff. Or you can take it out right here, but you have to loosen this subframe bolt where these two connect. And so we did that, gave it a little bit of space, and then could easily replace it. But the problem is with these subframe bolts, they're only supposed to be used once, and when it was going back in, it snapped. So I want to give a quick shout out to our friend Dan and George over at Integra Tire. They fixed our mistake again. Well, I won't say our mistake, it was my mistake. And so what Dan had to do is he had to actually just cut a little bit of the metal here. Nothing to do with the structure of the vehicle, just a little bit of metal to bend this back to get in and replace that bolt in there, as you can see. So thanks again, Dan and George at Integra, for taking care of that for us. So yeah, Strandy, another winner underneath.
Another winner underneath.
Exhaust system looks super clean. So we're gonna work on this inner tie rod right here. I have to get that off. Oh, do you know what I forgot, Strandy? I forgot to get a couple of new clips to hold the rubber boot on. And I've got them too, but I can put those on after.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get these wheels off. Take a look. Okay, here we are working on the Vue. Thought I would just do a quick little snapshot of all the fluid changes that we usually do on the vehicles. So for the Vue, it's 5W20 oil. Usually just pick it up at Costco, that's good stuff. Pick up a Napa filter. I believe the capacity is 4.3 liters with a filter change, so that's easy to do. In the short term, I actually picked up another belt actually to bypass the AC unit for the time being, because the pulley on the AC unit is bad, so gonna have to replace that. In the meantime, just got a new shorter belt and bypass the AC compressor for the time being. Yes, the Saturn Vue, once again, we reiterate, it is a Honda motor and a Honda transmission. And so in the Honda transmission, you absolutely need the DW1 formula from Honda directly. I believe it's about 4.5 liters to do a drain and fill. I also believe Honda doesn't recommend doing a big full-blown power flush of these. It's just a matter of changing it 2 or 3 times to keep the ATF fresh. So we'll do that once we warm up the transmission, and we'll drain that. Also, brake fluid. We have some new brakes and rotors coming, so might as well do a brake fluid flush while we are at it, while we're changing those out. So it's just .3. And last but not least, a coolant flush. Now, as I mentioned, it's a Honda engine, but Saturn in the manual actually says use Dexcool, which is the GM coolant. And the stuff that's in it now is orange, so figured, well, we'll follow the manual, but usually with the Honda engines, you use the blue coolant. That's Honda specific. But we'll stick with what the manual says and stick with what's already in the vehicle and just go with the orange Dexcool. In order to do a proper flush, I got actually a cleaner, that Rislone I just picked up. And so we'll do a video on how that flush works using distilled water and the flush. So that's all the fluids that we will do. Already did the air filter and already changed the cabin air filter. So we're getting there. So just doing the cabin air filter on the Saturn Vue. A little bit different than the Asian models that we usually use, the Mazdas, Toyotas, and Hondas. This one, they actually have in the engine bay. So there's just 4 little clips on this panel. Actually, it just sits like that, so you can get a look. Pop the 4 clips out, slide this to the side, and you can get into the filter. There it is. And this one hasn't been changed in a while. There's a lot of dirt in there. So I just finished hosing down the vehicle. It's a little wet. I'm gonna pull that out and give it a good wipe with a rag, clean it out, and then put the new filter in. Pretty easy job though. We are working on the Vue today, and what we're going to do is replace the AC compressor. So when we get this one off, we'll show you what happened to the old one. The pulley just gave out. I don't know if it's a bearing or what, but it's loose as anything. This is a bit tricky to replace this one, so it's down there in the interim. We'll show a little video later too. I just got a different belt and bypass the AC compressor for the time being. But you can either pull it out from the top here, which means I've got to take the air box off, got to take the alternator off. I believe the motor mount right there has to come out to give you the space to get it out. And the other way to do this is from underneath. So we'll get a better video of this once we get the vehicle jacked up and wheel off. But in order to do that, we actually have to remove a subframe bolt and just give ourselves an extra inch or 2 just to pull it out. But we'll show you that as we start getting some of this apart. We'll be back. Okay, we just want to do a quick update here on how we're doing getting the old compressor out. And we're under the vehicle. And you can see there's basically 4 bolts you have to undo. There's, let's see if we can get a good look here. There's a refrigerant hose right there. That's a little 10mm. Not much room to work, but just give it a little patience and you can get it. And then there's 3 13mm long bolts like this. They're holding the compressor in. There's 1 on the bottom, and then 2 just above where the refrigerant inlet is. And I'm working on the 3rd one over here. See, there's my small ratchet, and it's just, that's how much space I got to go. So just be patient. They're long bolts, but they will come out eventually. And then there's obviously just the one electronic clip that you gotta let go for the wire. And this is why this one has to be replaced. The pulley was totally shot. Anyhow, the next step, you can see this is the space we got to try and get this out of. We're going to release this subframe bolt right here. Give us a little bit more space to drop this. We're going to get a jack underneath to support the engine and let this come down a little bit. We'll be back. Okay, back again. We've got the old one out. There was the problem. See the pulley totally wrecked, so that's why that wasn't working. So we have our replacement one right here, and it was a little tricky to get out. So what you have to do, actually, there's the space up in there that you're going through. What you have to do is actually just get a little pry bar in here press that down, and then there's just enough clearance to get it back up in to where it goes. Okay, we just finished up at the air doctor, auto doctor, our friends out here on Enterprise, and the Vue has been fully recharged, and it is freaking cold. Scratch another one off the list. Well, here we are in the back of the Saturn Vue, and it's a little dirty. Once we got the back seat out, needs a good scrubbing. I think that's been like that since day one. But nothing we can't handle, so we'll clean that up. Look at that. And go, look at this mess. Let's see. Oh yeah. It's a little dirty.
A little dirty though. It's hot. Come on. Look at that.
Ooh.